Hello, good evening. So today's testimony is about deliverance from the spirit of narcolepsy. So growing up, I was the type of kid that liked to sit in the front of the class, yet I would always fall asleep. Like, always fall asleep. In college, I would fall asleep literally right here, just like this. And it was a thing, I even thought at one point that maybe I was just always tired or something. Some major things that happened in my life that let me know that it wasn't quite all right. When I was exercising with some of my sorority sisters, we were in the gym, y'all. I was on the treadmill walking and I fell asleep on the treadmill with the treadmill full out going. Okay, the treadmill was moving and I was knocked out, like literally snoring and all. My sisters were so scared that everybody was like, oh my gosh, okay, y'all, let's go to bed. Like, maybe we're just too tired. Then it carried on to the point where when I got into my career that, I wouldn't be able to focus after certain times of the day. Even at home, I would fall asleep immediately anywhere. It didn't matter whether I was standing, sitting, moving. It didn't matter. I would fall asleep. Now, it all kind of culminated a couple of years ago. I was working two jobs and I was driving home one night from my second job, and I was on I-35, which is one of the major highways out here in Texas. And I was on IH-35, y'all, and an 18-wheeler blared its horn at me like, passes me, right? I was knocked out sleep. If it wasn't for his horn, there's no telling what would have happened, y'all. So, at that point, I was like, okay, maybe something's wrong. Now, granted, I was working two jobs, so I was like, either A, something is wrong, or I'm just really tired. Like, I don't know, but at this point, it's dangerous. So I ended up talking to my doctor. She sent me to a sleep specialist and to do a sleep study. And like, long story short, we discovered that I had narcolepsy, and the specialist dated it like all the way back to probably when I was in 8th grade. I say probably, but that's what he said, that it started around 8th grade as we kind of sifted through my life story. And I had it the whole time, which explained obviously how I was able to have conversations and I would fall asleep smack in the middle of it. For those who know me, they could come to my house, hang out, and we could be talking, and in the middle of a sentence, I would be gone. If I was driving, I could be on the road. And I remember specifically one time my line sister was sitting next to me. I was driving us back to my house, and I fell asleep at the light. And the light had just turned. And as soon as the light turned, I just fell asleep. So it was getting extremely dangerous. So they ended up putting me on Nuvigil, which is a medication that helps you to regulate your sleep, and it allows you to get more rest more frequently. With the Nuvigil, they put me on the highest dose that you could legally give someone, and I ended up, like, when I would take it, because I stopped taking it regularly because I didn't like the way it made me feel. When I would take it, I would be awake for like 3 straight days, 3 days of being alert. And after it started getting like past that second day of just being awake and moving and moving and moving, when I would finally try to go to sleep, I would sleep like literally 24 hours straight through. It was just insane. So I remember being embarrassed. I was embarrassed because I didn't really have control of my facilities, and I was embarrassed because when someone would talk to me, like, I couldn't guarantee that I would continue in the conversation. It was just horrible. I felt ashamed about it, and I went to Healing and Deliverance with Javelle Toussaint. After my very first healing and deliverance session, she cast that spirit of narcolepsy out, and I have never had a problem again. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was 2019, so about 2 years ago, and I have never had that issue ever again. I'm not on Nuvigil. and I have no problems going to sleep. I have no problems being awake. Where I couldn't drive like 30 minutes, y'all, I'm actually able to drive long distances. Since then, I've driven to Dallas and back, and Dallas, Texas is like 4 hours from me, y'all, and I drove all the way to Dallas without any issues. I've driven to San Antonio and back to my city. Okay, I've driven to San Antonio and back to Austin, Texas, and which is about, how far is that? Say about 2 hours or so. And in that traveling, and I did it the same day, y'all. I drove all the way there, did some things, and was in the city, all of that. Came back after that the same day, and didn't fall asleep there, didn't fall asleep back. And mind you, I couldn't drive 10-15 minutes up the road. You understand? I could not travel 30 minutes and not have fallen asleep. There was one time I was trying to get to San Marcos with my mom, and I fell asleep 10 to 11 times, pulling over, falling asleep, pulling over, falling asleep, and I wouldn't even be able to tell when sleep was coming on. It's like I could talk to you like I am right now, and then all of a sudden I was gone. So I say all that to say I never have had the issue again. I am absolutely healed and delivered from the spirit of narcolepsy due to healing and deliverance with Javelle Toussaint. So there's nothing in the world that God cannot heal, and He's absolutely operating in this ministry. Thanks, guys, for listening. Bye-bye.